We are doing the X-axis roller beam prep today. So you're going to need your X-axis roller. You're going to need the number 9, number 7, number 10, number 8 assembly tools. You're also going to need your piece of aluminum angle. I'll note that your angle must have a sharp inside corner. If you've got something that's got a curve to it, it's not the right material. In fact, I'll show you what that looks like. This is an example of material that you can't use. It's got that curve. If this is all you can get your hands on, or this is all you have, you'll need to figure out a way, either by file or whatever, to make this a sharp inside corner, just like this is. I've already done some marking here. I've indicated my square face where the ball screw nut is going to be positioned, and I've marked the top and the front, or what I've decided is the front of the roller beam. So what we're going to need to do here is we're going to start with assembly tool 7, which is this one, and it needs to go on here oriented like so. Okay, and make sure that's all nice and down and tight and snug. And now we are going to mark the center holes here. So we grab the thing that does the marks, and we'll get these marked. Now we're going to follow that up with the large marking tool. So there's one. Okay, so we've got those 4 done. And I still need to use that again. So what we're going to do here is flip this over. And we're going to do 4 more marks on the bottom of the part. Okay. Okay, so we have the marks done for the number 7 tool. So now we're going to put the number 10 on the front face, which is this tool right here. And we're going to set it like so. And we are going to mark all of these. Let's see what we got. We got 5 of them. Now remember, these are 6mm holes, okay? But this is for an M6 tap. These are for 6.5mm holes. I really wish the templates were consistent, but they're not, so that's what it is. So we did the front face. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our 6.5mm holes done, and we'll go from there. I've got all the holes drilled in this part now, but there's a new set of holes that I didn't anticipate originally, and that's because The PrintNC machine, as it's currently sitting or as it's currently designed, needs E-chain or the cable chain, but it doesn't include the parts for mounting it to the machine. And that is a pretty gross oversight. However, the community has created parts for mounting the cable chain. This is the part that attaches to this X carrier part here, okay, with the X-axis. And you can see it just fits right there, and it uses a couple of 5mm screws to attach. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and get this marked and tapped for 5mm screws, and then we'll see what the next step is. Okay, when you're done, you will have something that looks like this. The screws that I used were ones in the kit. They should not impact the nut or the ball screw nut that goes through here. So now that we've got this done, everything's all tapped the way it should. All the holes are drilled right, and everything's tapped properly. And now we'll move on to the next task. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to grab our piece of aluminum, and we are going to grab, let's see, assembly tool, position assembly tool number 8. And we are going to mark all 4 holes using a center punch. So we'll orient the part like that, and then this goes on there like so. And then I will go ahead, and I can't do this on screen because I have to go to a different area that will allow me to set this properly, because the alignment pieces here are higher than this thing is thick. So if I just set it on the top of the table, it'll be tilted just a little bit. I wonder if that'll be a problem. Let's run with it, just for giggles. I need a replacement one of these. I will be right back. Okay, we got a fresh one that's not messed up, or not bent. So we'll make sure that we're all aligned up here, and we will get this done. Should have, oh, I got good marks, but we're going to double down because that's what we do. Okay. And then we need assembly tool number 9, which is this thing. Let's see, what are we doing? We're doing 7.5mm holes here and 6.5mm holes as we do the other face. So since our first was like this, okay, our second is going to fit on there like so, okay? And I am going to take this off screen and do it in a vise because that's just not a good plan. I'll be right back. Okay, now we've got that all nice and marked. Did I do a dumb thing? No, that's in the number 9. I'm 6. You know, guys, you really need to make up your damn minds. Number 10 is just an M6, which, if you're paying attention, you know you need to drill it for an M6 tap. This is M6 by 5. Well, the assumption is that there's 5 holes, and you're going to drill it for an M6, so you have to read the wiki. You would think after 3 years that people would have complained about this previously, but apparently not. Okay, so for these 4 bottom holes, I need to drill with a 7.5 millimeter bit, and these 5 holes need to be done with a 5 millimeter drill bit. So I will go do that right now. Okay, it's been weeks. As you can see, I have all of the holes drilled and the notch created in the aluminum angle part. Turns out that I did not have a 7.5 millimeter drill bit, so I had to go get one. And life intervened, and here we are. I will hopefully, by the time this video goes live, have been able to update the wiki with how I did this notch. If not, basically what I did is I measured 31 millimeters from this inside edge to here, and then 10 millimeters in, and then used a step drill to bore a 22 millimeter hole, and then with a hacksaw I cut these in to open it up, and then used a file and a deburring tool. At least that's what I was supposed to have done. This dimension here, I messed up and I used 35 and not 31. It's only off by 4 millimeters, but I figured I should at least correct that. So if you guys followed my instructions, you wouldn't end up with something that was a little bit off. The 4 millimeters is not going to interfere with mounting the guide block, so we're good there, or the bearing block. So let's go take a look at the next task we have to do. Got my fancy instructions. So now we want to mount the HGW20 block. So let me go grab that. So here's our block, and it wants M6 by 20 button head bolts, but we've got socket head cap screws, so let me grab some of those. So I don't have the hardware I need. So I get to order more, and it'll be more time, but we'll get there. We are back with the newly specified fasteners. And I say newly because the wiki called out an M6 by 20, which is a little bit long, but it's okay. The problem is that the bill of materials doesn't call out a 20 millimeter anything. Well, there might be an M5 in there, but these are 6 millimeters. So I learned 2 important things. 1, never assume the wiki is right. And 2, if you complain about it, you get called entitled. So there we have it. So now I'm moving on to the next task, which is attaching the HGR block using 12 millimeter screws. And let's get that handled. It goes on there like so. The wiki also calls out for button head, or not for button head, but for button head bolts, and none of the bolts specified in the bill of materials are button head. They would be a good choice here because these holes are 7.5 millimeter and it could use a little bit wider of a head. But the bill of materials and the wiki have a huge disconnect going on. I'm not sure why. I don't care why, because complaining about it doesn't help. Okay, so we've got that attached there. And we need to, at some point, oh, this is so cute. At the end of this article, you may consider adding 2 holes to the back face of the X-roller for mounting the cable chain. Gee, really? Golly. Would have known, nice to have known that at the beginning of the article, but whatever. Okay, so it doesn't appear that we have any more assembly going on. I'll check to make sure here. I've got all my taps done in my steel. Yeah, those are done. That's done. That's done. The notch is made. Yeah. Okay, so next is the X-axis gantry prep. So I'm going to collect the bits that I need for that. I'm going to mount the Zerk fitting. This thing here, it's included in the Zerk or the bearing package. And we'll get back at it. Well, that kind of ended weird, didn't it? Just kind of stopped. Well, that's pretty much where I stopped taking video. This is about where I'm at now. It's not very much farther on than when it was when I stopped. I haven't worked on it for probably been a good 2 months now. I've had other things going on. I've changed jobs, which is a first for me in a long time. I was with my previous employer as a senior programmer analyst for 24 years, 7 months, and 14 days. I am now working at another place, much less toxic, and a little bit more money, and still remote. So I'm in a much better place work-wise. My problem is that I still have too many projects going, and I need to prioritize those projects. And I can't do that if I'm having to stop and video things as I'm going. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue the PrintNC project, but I'm only going to take video a little bit, kind of marks as to how far I've gotten periodically. There won't be any schedule. There wasn't any schedule with these, but I kind of wanted to end this video or this series because we're not going to do a part 7. It's just going to be this is what's going on. I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that I'm having to work with or work on, okay? One of the things is I've got a lot of stuff to scan. So I'm going to flip the camera around and you can see that. So all those banker boxes are full of documentation that needs to be scanned. And that's part of the vintage computer collection I got a couple of years ago. And it's just some interesting stuff, you know. We've got, let's see, Ship Fitter 1 and C, I think. All kinds of interesting stuff. There's software, there's CPM stuff, Apple stuff. I mean, it's all over the map, really. And all that has to be scanned. Here's my, it's mostly scanned, I think, right now. But again, here's more, okay? All of the software that's on these shelves, I have to image these discs. I've got a good setup to do that now. Much better than the grease weasel I was using before. I'm using a applesauce. This is my scanning workstation. This scanner here, it's a Fujitsu 5530C2, which will allow me to do 11 by 17 fold-out schematics. This is a high-speed duplexing scanner. A Caesar ET24. Still on the fence about that thing. I'm not sure I really care for it. That's the machine I do my stuff on. And then over here, amongst the mess, is my book scanner. I've added a couple of things. I've got this nice drawer material here, or drawer bottom, to prevent the books from sliding. And then I also use neodymium magnet, or magnetic, if I could talk it'd be dangerous, magnetic plates that I've got some back here that will allow me to keep the book from moving. and that greatly speeds up the processing time because I'm not having to shift the book around. And these are a couple of totes full of diskettes that I've already imaged. We've got parts for the PrintNC. That is a printer. It's an Elegoo Jupiter. I got it a month ago. It's been sitting here because I haven't had time to do anything. You know, so it's my printer cabinet. And so that's where I'm at right now. I need to dial all this nonsense back and start working on things to start clearing some space and doing YouTube videos about a print or about a CNC machine. Just aren't on the table right now. So, and I'm just kind of wandering through, giving you guys a look at some of the stuff that I ended up with, for no other reason than it's here. So yeah, anyway, I appreciate the time that you folks spent watching my stuff. There will be more. It's just not going to be right away. So you folks have a nice fall, I guess. We're starting that now? I guess that's the thing. Anyway, take care, folks. Bye-bye.